I'm a little concerned for MultiVersus. It's announced today, at the recording of this video, there is a trailer that came out recently for the launch of MultiVersus. The official launch, not the beta launch, aka their launch 2.0. It's a very insane event, and it's got a lot of hype going behind it because of the people that have been released, because of the things that have been hinted at, and all this other stuff. But while there are some people that are excited for their Goth GF Raven to get into the game, or seeing the tiny spacecraft in one of the corners there, and thinking that the Jetsons may be in this game, which I wouldn't be against, I'm more concerned about how this is one of the more volatile times for MultiVersus. This game is in a very interesting spot, and I think it's important to recognize that because you really don't want to mess it up here. MultiVersus has faced quite a bit of strife in its first launch, starting with some pretty hype characters, but then kind of slowing down a lot. There were a few problems with its release, not paying attention to the 1v1 format of the game, leading to a lot of characters like Batman existing, not having very many heavy hitters in its lineup when it came to certain release dates coming out. There were a lot of characters like Ben 10, with Witch of the West, stuff like that, that were highly requested, but never really acknowledged. Then there's also the fact that when they shut down the game, they took everybody's money. So, like, that's a thing. That was a big thing from them. That and their general silence around the game kind of led to the game's downfall in the first place, which led to its shutdown. I forget how long exactly? I think it's been about a year. But now they're coming back, it seems like hype for the game is getting stronger than ever, with things like the Joker, Jason Voorhees, Agent Smith coming into the game, and the aforementioned hints that I said before. You know, they hinted that stuff before anyway, and those characters didn't come into the game during the data part, but what am I worried about? See, my problem comes in with the fact for this game that I feel like they have a very heavy chance to do that again. I'm not worried about the contenders so far. They've, both times when they've released a trailer, have released some very heavy-hitting characters. And the fact that they're theming the launch trailer around villains is genius. Because there needs to be more villains in this franchise. The only ones we have are Harley, Spike, and technically Martian Manhunter, Black Adam coming late. Oh, actually, no, wait. Black Adam and Martian Manhunter both coming later. So that's like 4 of most of the cast. There weren't a lot of villains with characters that you have that have literal rogues galleries of villains. So I think them adding them more is better in the right step of a direction. That being said, I feel like we're following a very similar path again. If they just kind of go down the road of not really communicating with the audience about things like buffs, nerfs, and stuff like that. That being said, obviously you have to be careful about which waves you buff, which ones you nerf. You can't listen to them all the time because that leads to a very not as fun game still. It's a hard balancing act they have to follow, but they have to try to balancing act in the first place, is what I'm saying. I feel like the game is just gonna have some problems. That being said, there is the hope with the villains in particular that this game is going to be freaking awesome. It was pretty obvious that the Joker was going to get this game. The people assume that, and honestly, it taking this long is weird. But seeing Jason and Agent Smith, as well as a weird pick in Banana Knight, seemingly joke character for the game, I want to say overall that this is actually some of the hypest and most intrigued I've been when it comes to MultiVersus. And I just hope that it can survive this time. Because I think MultiVersus is a good game. Before it was a good game, I think now it'll be a good game. I just hope that they, you know, keep the audience keeps up with them, and that this game can live a long and healthy life. Also, get rid of a lot of those microtransactions, because what the fuck?